Do you want some chips with that salt? Because there is a rather salty take from a former teammate of Franco Colapinto around his hype in Formula 1 and how, according to this former teammate, it is overblown. It's too much, and Colapinto is, by definition, by what he's saying, overrated. Let's have a look at this, guys. I know there's a lot of Colapinto fans. I've got a lot of Argentine subscribers, so buenos dias a todos to you guys, or whatever time of the day it is that you're watching this. But yeah, I mean, let's have a look at the kind of thoughts on this, because obviously there's a lot of noise around Colapinto with him joining Alpine and inevitably going to get that race seat instead of Jack Doohan. I've already spoke about that at length and my kind of thoughts on it, but let's have a look at this, because yeah, not everybody's impressed by Colapinto, obviously, so let's have a look at what his former teammates said. Full article on the F1Chronicle.com. Franco Colapinto's quest to restart his Formula 1 racing career with Alpine steps into a higher gear this week in Barcelona. Although official pre-season testing will not kick off until later this month in Bahrain, many teams have already been running 2- and 3-year-old cars at various circuits as part of the TPC testing provisions, the testing of previous cars programs. Understandably, a huge amount of attention has been on Ferrari, where Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc have been testing the 2024 car for Pirelli's 2026 development program in Barcelona. On Tuesday, Hamilton was a tenth faster than Leclerc, but the latter went significantly faster than his new 7-time World Championship winning teammate a day later. You can't really read much into testing times, to be honest. Too many different variables, but it's positive. It's positive for sure for both. Being quite close to each other is a good sign, I'd say, for Ferrari. It's great that he's gone to Ferrari. MotoGP legend Valentino Rossi said, referring to the 40-year-old Hamilton to that newspaper. Rossi, of course, could have drove for Ferrari in Formula 1 in the mid-2000s. He had some very successful tests, but ended up sticking with bikes. And I'm sure that Rossi and Hamilton did like a joint piece together as part of some Sky thing at Mugello years ago. So they know each other, unsurprisingly. Legend, game respects game. Legends respect legends at the end of the day. So there we go. I'm curious to see how it all goes. Rossi said, I'm keen to see how he copes and how Leclerc copes. Over in the Alpine garage, meanwhile, there is also intrigue with the newly signed 2025 reserve driver Colapinto switching between 2022 and 23 spec cars. Also in action in the same cars is Jack Doohan, who will replace Colapinto after the first 5 races of the season. The head-to-head in Barcelona gives Alpine an early indicator of which driver is faster. According to Russian sports car driver Roman Rusinov, the hype surrounding Colapinto is overblown. In 2021, they were teammates at the G-Drive team in WEC. Rusinov told Russia's Championat that he was not overly impressed with either Colapinto's driving in sports cars or in Formula 1 with Williams last year. For me personally, Colapinto did not make any splash in Formula 1, he said. Okay. He had 2 options: drive carefully, but then he might not be remembered, or push as hard as possible, which led to constant crashes. I'll finish the quote before I comment on that. At Williams, he did exactly the same thing as he did in G-Drive. Franco is a good driver in terms of lap time, but in terms of results, he has never lived up to expectations. He makes a lot of mistakes. Unfortunately, he does not seem to learn from them. He just tries again and again to prove that he is the fastest and makes mistakes. In the 6 races that Franco drove for us, he made 5 mistakes. In the only race where Colapinto did not make any mistakes, he won. So he is a good and quite fast driver, but he is still a child. Speed alone is not enough. I really like Franco, he is a great guy, but in general, all this hype around him is not justified by the final results. Well, let me get my thoughts about that out, because I rather disagree with that take, to say the least. Because at the end of the day, right, you can be critical of Colapinto and how many crashes he had at Williams. Absolutely. I don't know about his sports car career 3 years ago. I can't say I've watched every race in the WEC. I catch the highlights every now and again. That's kind of it, really, to be honest. As you kind of expect by the length of these races, they last quite a long time. They're not very easy to watch. You might have one in the background, but that's kind of it, really. So I can't really comment on his time in WEC. He would have been, he's 21 now, so in 2021, he would have been like 17, 18. He would have literally been pretty much a child at that point. So he might well have been rough around the edges and made lots of mistakes and crashes, The kid's a kid, But nowadays in Formula 1, I really do. I do rate him. I really do think he's good. You know, at the end of the day, even if you think cynically and say, well, he crashed a lot at Williams, he made a lot of mistakes, but the fact remains is that he managed to do something that Logan Sargent couldn't do in the Williams in 2024. And that was score points. He did it twice, I think, didn't he? He did it in Azerbaijan and Italy. Now, even if you're thinking cynically and saying, oh, well, Sargent might have got points in Italy, I don't think he would have done. I don't think he would have done personally. But even if you think that, the fact that Colapinto came in at the 11th hour like that, straight out of F2, this kid was racing in Formula 3 in 2023. I actually met him at Silverstone when he was racing in Formula 3. So he was in that championship like less than 12 months before he made his F1 debut. That's a huge rise. That is such a change in everything, and he adapted to that car really well, I thought. And yes, he made mistakes, he made crashes, but so did everybody else. So did Alex Albon. Albon had a lot of crashes too last year. If you look at the frequency throughout the entire season, yeah, it's more often that Colapinto made mistakes. But he's a rookie. He's inexperienced. Even the experienced driver in the form of Alex Albon, who I rate really highly, also made mistakes. So this really does taste of sour grapes, to be honest with you. I'm not sure where this guy's coming from with this one. He seems rather jealous and bitter, to be honest. He really does. You know, and like I said, even if you're thinking cynically with Colapinto, at the end of the day, what is the most important thing in Formula 1 as a driver? Right, speed, your pace, right? You can be a really fast driver and you can learn how to not crash cars, be more consistent with experience, but it's very difficult to make a consistent driver fast, and that's the difference. Franco Colapinto is fast, and if you're thinking cynically, inconsistent, right? And that's even a negative take in my opinion. You know, I think that he was doing his best and he was doing a good job in that Williams. I really do, and I think he'll do a good job as well when he comes into the Alpine. But at the end of the day, with experience, he will be more well-rounded as a driver. You know, every driver makes mistakes, particularly in their rookie season. Max Verstappen did, Lewis Hamilton did. Fernando Alonso probably did. So long ago, I can't remember off the top of my head. He probably made some mistake at some point in that Minardi in 01. I'd be shocked if he didn't, because that car was not particularly good. You know, it happens to all of them. It happens to all. You even see experienced drivers making mistakes, like Lance Stroll. Just saying. So yeah, for me, I think this quote is a load of baloney, to put it politely. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Is Colapinto overrated? Is the hype surrounding him too much? I want to hear your thoughts on that, because I don't agree with that at all. I think the hype is very much justified. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always, guys, here on the F1Chronicle.com, and we'll see you very soon for some more Formula 1 video content right here. Have a good one, guys. Take care.